Welcome everyone, TheDailyWoo here. As the recording of this, it is Wednesday, July 5th, 2023. I am standing right here wearing an appropriate hat on the shore of Tampa Bay, Florida, St. Petersburg, Florida.
And I'm wearing an inappropriate hat here at the bay of whatever the heck we are at.
Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay.
Yeah. You didn't realize there was even really a Tampa Bay. You just thought it was the name of a town.
Today is the day I found out that Tampa Bay is a body of water and a city. I just thought it was a city full of a bad baseball team and a bad football team.
Well, to be specific, the Rays are in St. Pete.
Right.
And they're not a bad team.
It's kind of like the New York Giants and the New York Jets playing in New Jersey. It just doesn't make sense. Either pick a side. Pick a side.
We're right here along the marina. My camera, when I walked out of the hotel, which are hotels over here, it was cool and crisp in the hotel room, but walked out into this humidity. The camera fogged up. I needed to be about 20 minutes for it to get acclimated to the Florida humidity before you could even see. It looked like we were in a fog, a hazy fog, for like a good 10 minutes. So I just waited to do the intro till now.
It's gonna take me 100 years to get acclimated to this humidity. It's the worst. It's the worst.
All right, I'm inviting you to join me and the Philly captain today as we peruse around St. Petersburg, Florida.
Join us, shall you?
You do that so well. You should start a channel.
Mate, one day. My catchphrases, I think they're the key.
Tony Janice. Janice Landing, the punk rock venue I was showing you yesterday. Named after Tony Janice. I did not realize that.
Wow.
But right here, this is a recreation of the world's first airliner. Right here.
So Tony Janice would take you up in this airplane and he called it an airliner?
Well, this is Benoist Plaza, so I think Benoist, I see Benoist on the side.
Where did the passengers sit?
I think on the other side over here.
On the wings.
Oh no, it was just him. It was, oh, that's a good point.
Like, how is it an airline?
Right. Very interesting.
You ever see those movies where they stand on the side of the wings?
Oh yeah, the best. Kind of remind. Would I ever do that?
Yeah, would you?
100% no. All right, this says St. Petersburg Tampa Airboat Line's first flight. Pioneer pilot Tony Janice. You're right, it is Tony Janice in there. 1914 was when this image was taken, right here at the pier. Well, I'm assuming it's the pier.
He looks like a horrible pilot. He landed in the water.
Well, I think it was like a seaplane.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it was like a seaplane. I think it landed in the water, took off from the water. The hangar was built on the site of the monument in 1914. So this hangar was right where they have placed the Benoist by Mr. Janice.
What we should do is read these.
We should read these before I start assuming.
We should read these, then vlog. Have the information, then share it.
I'm not that kind of vlogger.
Okay.
Thomas W. Benoist, airline president. That's where the plane got its name. Right here. Oh, look at this. There's Albert Berry, Tony Janice, and Tom Benoist shortly before Berry became the first person, what the heck, to parachute out of an airplane. This guy was the very first person to ever parachute out of an airplane. Albert Berry. I really like the skyline over here too. What were you saying?
I would say, he's the first guy to use a parachute out of an airplane.
Right.
That means they use parachutes for other things.
Off bridges.
They would just jump off bridges. Why do they do that now?
Yeah, you could jump off.
But like in 1910, what type of parachute did they have? It was probably like a canvas bag and like
something. Yeah, probably was not too structurally sound.
Did he survive the first parachute?
I would hope so. All right, stepping it up a notch here. May Peabody was the first woman to fly in a first airplane. Although she did not fly to Tampa, so it has nothing to do with this area. However, May Peabody, that is very appropriate because there's an airport over there with a small, probably a 3-person plane, not much different than this one. This is a 1-person, obviously, but add 2 and you get the 3-person. In commemoration of the world's first commercial airline flight by Tony Janice back in 1914. I need this because I go on adventures. This is the Adventurer's Canoe. Terry Tomlin, who passed on in 2016, he learned magic from a shaman in the rainforest on how to wrestle alligators in the Everglades, the Florida Everglades.
That's only a sentence you'll read in Florida.
I bet we could rent one of those and go out. I think that's a sail team, or is that just like a rental? Sailboat rental. I can't get away from yard work, even when yard work is being done on concrete.
Why do you film yard work all the time? I need to know. Why do you do it?
It's a secret.
It's a secret.
Yes. I'm not allowed to say. I just think it's a neat novelty. It's become a part of the vernacular in my video.
Like,
yeah.
Why is he filming that lawnmower?
It's like me getting a coffee. Well, we should get a piping hot caffeinated beverage
Well,
out
I
here.
get that. That wakes us up. You filming a guy mowing a lawn, I don't get it.
It's a bit.
It's a bit.
You have bits.
Huh?
You have bits.
I have catchphrases.
So Tampa proper is over there. Other side of the bay. You can see it there. The morning kind of fog and haze. Getting some sunscreen?
A little sunscreen. Hello, friend. Just staring at me. Just trying to not get skin cancer. You know how it goes. This is bad sunscreen.
What if he's attracted to sunscreen? What if he likes the flavor of it?
That's why he's chilling here?
Yeah, look, he keeps staring at you.
Do people get attacked by these things?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, what are we doing? What are we...
Here goes this. This is the building we're about to go in and get a cup of coffee right here. Cup of coffee. Cream of the crop.
Oh, yeah, brother. Cream of the crop. Cup of coffee. Adam the Woo, we're going to go in here and get a nice cup of coffee. It's going to give us some energy, brother.
Everyone's staring at you.
Oh, yeah, I don't care. I am never going to see these people again. Oh, yeah, brother.
Okay, what were you saying about Dali?
Oh, my favorite thing about Dali is, like, him and Pablo Picasso, those guys were both on The Tonight Show with Johnny Carson. Like, they're not old artists. They're artists who were alive in current times. And he was a very interesting character, Dali. He once went on the Dick Cavett show and brought a pet anteater on with him.
I remember that.
Yeah, very interesting.
And
man.
he had a kind of a Tim Tracker-esque mustache.
Very Tim. I would say Tim Tracker has a Dali-esque.
Well, fair enough.
Right, very fair.
So Dalí and Walt Disney were friends.
Really?
Yeah, they did a collaboration of sorts once.
They should hire you for like a Walt Disney, like, I don't know, curator. You know so much about Walt Disney. What do you think of this coffee? It's garbage.
I wasn't gonna say.
That is the worst coffee you ever had?
It wasn't. Is
it better than Starbucks? I don't think it's better than Starbucks.
I think Starbucks. I think it's better than Starbucks. I think Starbucks is better than us.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And Starbucks is garbage too. The purpose.
I'm trying to figure that out. It's like a netting of some. Oh, it is supposed to be a net, like a fishing net. All right, this is open today. St. Petersburg Museum of History. We're gonna step inside of here and see what they got. There's a. Oh, we got a newsboy over here.
Extra, extra, Rays lose to the Phillies.
Oh, come on. Oh my gosh, that AC in here feels amazing. Here's another, oh, this one has two people in it, unlike the sculpture out front. Oh, this is pretty awesome. These are the goggles worn by Tony Jannus on the first round trip flight when he dropped them on the return back to St. Pete. These are the ones he wore. Now, at some point, maybe today we could go by the, so obviously think of St. Augustine for the Fountain of Youth. There's also a Fountain of Youth here in St. Pete. Schrader's Little Cooperstown. You ever been to the real Cooperstown?
No.
Never been there?
No. I told you, this is the first time I've ever traveled.
You gotta go there one day.
I do.
Ted Williams.
What? Where's his head? There.
There's an interesting story about Ted Williams. Also a Walt Disney tie-in. Some people assume that Walt Disney is frozen. Completely untrue. However, it's probably a little more factual that Ted Williams.
Ted Williams, before he had, when he died, he had his top of his head separated.
Frozen.
Frozen, yeah.
Is that true, or is that like a?
No, it's true.
It's not like a Walt Disney rumor.
You can Google it. I never lie.
I always trust the internet. When you were young, did you think evil was spelled Evi? You think he was really an evil person? I always thought.
Yes.
I was like,
no, he was
evil.
He was pretty much known as to be like a cranky guy.
Look at this, Gene Wilder. I didn't even notice he just said that.
Yo, come on down, Bob Barker.
The creator of the coach's clicker, John Madden himself.
That was the size of the baseball when baseball started.
Okay.
So like in the 1800s.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, so then in '38, the Giants signed it. I'm taking a walk past Pioneer Park. We're gonna head over to the Dali Museum, see what we can find on the way there. We're walking in the shade, however, so there's sun on that side of the road, shade on this side. I'm team shade. Gotta cross over the road now because there's more shade on this side. I always like these historical markers. Dimmon's Landing. City Park is located on the site of the first railroad pier. Get some pier history. Peter Dimmins in 1889. He was a Russian nobleman. The first railroad pier, which I'm guessing is over there across the waterway. Philly Captain was just saying how that kind of looks like Spaceship Earth, and it kind of does. Love all the sailboats down there, little small sailboats.
Looks like bumper boats.
Well, it does look like bumper boats, like something you'd see at a fair. I have not been here in probably 10 years. Oh, there goes a plane taking off, right there. Taking off over in the distance.
I hope he does better than the guy who started the first airline.
Well, he survived a couple years after the first flight.
Still died.
Just give a shout out my buddy King Woovian, who runs the Woovians group online. He is probably the biggest Salvador Dali fan I know. Yeah, the Woovians. Shout out to the Woovians group.
Is that what you call your people? The
No, I don't call them anything. They're just people who watch my videos, viewers, kindred spirits.
I call my people deckhands.
Deckhands.
I'm a captain. They're my deckhands.
Oh. Yeah, I don't have a title. I just, kindred spirits, viewers. Those who are on the kind of the same wavelength. But people come up with different names for things.
Yeah.
But yeah, my buddy Jason, loves this museum. So shout out to Jason, King Woovian, and the Woovians group. I almost thought the sign was messed up. Like I thought the sign was broken, but I looked at the other side and it's not. It's made to look like this. So if you, what would you say, like abstract? Abstract art, Dali. Some of the first artwork I ever bought years ago. I had an apartment in Kissimmee, Florida in the mid-90s. The first art I ever had on my wall was Dali. The girl I was dating at the time also liked Salvador Dali.
Was it like the melting clock?
Yeah, like the famous melting clock and all that. And I had a couple of them. And I remember people would come over and go, what am I looking at? There's a big bug problem here. We got ants going up the side here in St. Pete, Florida. A lot of ants. One thing I like about California, not that we're in California and you're from Philly, but not a lot of bugs. Look at this duck. Is it going towards the geyser? Okay, so sometimes you'll exit through the gift shop, but you also enter through the gift shop. Do not touch, hug, or tickle this automobile, according to the sign here. There's a waterfall behind the scuba guy that's driving this vehicle, and it does kind of have a Spaceship Earth vibe to it. And we asked the cashier at the front. She was informing us that Dali was not from here, but Reynolds and Eleanor Morse were the one who donated all this stuff to the area. Made it up to the 3rd floor, kind of overlooking Tampa Bay out there. And they said this exhibit here is not open yet. It's going to be like an immersive, kind of like the Van Gogh that was touring. It's going to be similar to that, but it is not open yet. The staircase, I didn't realize this until the captain pointed out, but the staircase leads to nowhere. Born in Spain, 1904. Known his technical skill as a painter and remarkable quality of his imagination. Now, his early stuff was not as abstract. This was 1921 self-portrait. Now, this is dated 1918-19. Another self-portrait right here of him painting next to an open door. The name of this is Gala Contemplated the Mediterranean Sea Witch. But you see Abraham Lincoln. We were talking to a lady that was walking around. She was saying this is an interesting story on this one. 1932, eggs on a plate. He just stared at the canvas for hours and hours and days until he came up with the idea. And it was basically his dreams coming to fruition on canvas. Eggs on a plate. Surrealist poster. And then look at the size of this thing.
Looks like them track.
That's huge. Yeah, it all depends how you look at things. You kind of like look from a distance, it looks like one thing. You zoom in, it looks like another. The lobster telephone, circa 1936 to 1938. You want to talk on a lobster telephone? Well, it's behind glass, you can't, but one does exist. I've seen a Mickey Mouse telephone, but not a lobster telephone before.
You know what's funny? There's people probably watching this that has no idea that's how you dial a phone.
Yeah, that's the good old days. That's the good old days. Well, I don't know how good they were, but it was the days.
Did you ever use a phone like that?
Oh yeah,
Man.
Even my grandmother used to have one of those in her house.
I used to call it took like 20 minutes to dial.
And I'm noticing a lot of religious connotations in his artwork as well. A lot of angels and heavenly beings. Okay, this is an interesting area here. You got the famous clock here. You got the pencil over in the corner.
It's Dali's studio.
It's the studio.
It's a 2D rendering of what a studio looked like.
Yeah, this is cool. 1937, Montague Dawson made this, Wind, Sun, and Lightning. And then 5 years later, Dali did this one, which is almost exact, except you could see the figure of a woman in this one instead of the stern of the ship. I love the names. Dinner in the Desert Lit by Burning Giraffes. Circa 1937. No color in that one. All right, now heading down the staircase here. The works of Dali. There's his signature. Really cool museum. I really like it. I've been here about 10 years ago. Didn't remember any of it, so I'm glad I came back. Back down into the gift shop. I like how he took his mustache and kind of twisted it around like a figure eight, like an infinity style. Got a little flask there. Got some coffee mugs. Got some sleeping glasses over there. Some socks with Dali.
There's our giraffe on fire.
Oh, there's the giraffe on fire right there. Sure is. Melting clock snow globe here. They got a few on display that you can kind of shake around and see the snow around the melting clock. Probably the most notable of his works there. Look at this cap right here. You traded your Phillies cap for this.
That's garbage.
Ooh, little finger puppets over here. Little finger puppets, similar to, I used to have, oh no, these are magnets. They're magnets, finger puppets. Look at this, kind of similar to Wilbraham Lincoln. All right, ended up purchasing a few things. I got a little souvenir here of the melting enamel pin clock, well, the melting clock and enamel pin. Got Dali there, and then I got a Stay Surreal sticker and a little bag with Salvador's face right on the front there. The Dali Museum. Pretty good spot. Recommend it. Also, lots of insects, lots of ants through here. All right, got to carry on to the next spot. Oh, someone has left their lemur skunk or whatever this is right here at the bus stop, waiting in the sun.
What a poorly placed bench.
Yeah, the shade's right here. Nice shade. Lots of shade here. No shade here.
I guess you got to come back around 4 o'clock when the sun.
A nice breeze coming in right now.
Ain't too shabby.
Yeah. Still hot as heck, but yeah, nice breeze. All right, I believe that this is the St. Pete Fountain of Youth. This is it. What is the...
It's Fountain of Youth.
Now I have been and I have drank from the Fountain of Youth in St. Oh, there's water. Hold on, don't drink from it yet. I'm gonna come over there. I have drank from the Fountain of Youth in St. Augustine. This is the, is it hot? Scorching hot?
No, I just...
Piping hot?
It was piping hot, but now it's warmed down.
This is the Fountain of Youth. I want to know what the backstory is. Let me do a quick little little web search, because you know you can always trust the internet on what...
Make sure you Google, is this water fountain filtered?
All right, according to what I was reading, and again, you never know what the internet's true, but St. Augustine is where the original Fountain of Youth is. So I'm just kind of like showing this. So this is from an artesian well near the pier. It was constructed in 1901. And St. Pete, before it became Sunshine City, was known as Health City.
Health City?
Yeah, Health City.
God's waiting room, Health City. All right, I'm gonna do it.
Do it, get a sip there. Do you feel younger? Feel youthful?
I feel like I just drank a lead pipe.
So you got a little lead in the system? You don't feel healthier?
I highly recommend it.
It's actually not that bad.
Some high quality H2O.
Feeling young and youthful now.
Yeah?
Let's go!
Let's go! You ready to watch the Tampa Bay Rays lose again today? Let's go! Youth here at St. Petersburg This was put in the early 1900s.
Yeah.
Tourist attractions. That's what they were, right?
God's waiting room. In God's waiting room, you need something to make you youthful.
Do you think people actually thought they worked? You think there was like 2 or 3 people?
100%. There were some people who thought the Fountain of Youth worked. Definitely. I know, especially in St. Augustine. You're gonna go try it again?
Well, I'm gonna do it for my.
Oh, you're gonna act like in your video that you haven't tried it yet?
Right. I'm gonna do it the first time. I'm not recording when you're recording because why watch the same vlog twice?
That's a good point.
Right?
Take 2, but really for your video, it's take 1.
Take 1 for these people.
Behind the scenes. So what you're saying is you fabricate a lot of stuff for your video?
I don't fabricate anything. I'm a real person. Is that what you're saying?
Now when Splash Mountain closed, Disneyland and Disney World, people were taking the water from Splash Mountain and they were selling it. So you think this water's worth anything? Not that I'm gonna do that, but yeah.
We'll buy it.
You know what I'm gonna do? I think Dalí needs a slurp. The old water. Thirsty, Dalí? Get you a little bit.
Come back to life.
What if he comes back to life? All right, this is interesting, passing the soccer stadium. This is a word I use all the time. Berm. People say, what's a berm? It is a real word. Left berm entrance over that way. Which is just like a little, like a grassy knoll. It's known as a berm. It's a Disney term. You know, the berm that kind of, where the train, Grand Circle Tour, the train goes around, keeps you from looking into the park. There's a berm that blocks a view, it obstructs the view. A grassy dirt mound filled with grass is a berm. It always, I don't know, I just like that word, berm. You ever heard that term, berm?
I've heard you say it 65 times in the last 30 seconds, but before that...
Typical Florida weather, summer weather. It is now downpouring and raining. Made the commute over across from the former State Theater, also known as the Floridian, to the Chihuly Collection. Another art place right here. Get out of the elements. All right, we're going through. There he is, Dale Chihuly, back in Venice in '68. Known for his glass blowing here. This is pretty neat. It's also cool because you can hear the sounds of the rainfall outside. It's quiet in here, but you hear the thunder and rain outside. There's way less people in here than there were at the Dalí. There's hardly anyone in here. The Chihuly chandeliers range from 3 to 30 feet in length, made up of up to 100 elements of glass. It's like little tentacles. That is amazing. It's all made out of glass. Like blown glass. How many hours that would have taken to make?
2 or 3.
2,000 or 3,000?
Nah.
Wow. It reminds me of like seashells.
Is it one piece? Like, is that piece down here, or is it separate pieces?
Oh, you mean does this piece go all the way?
Does this piece here go all the way up?
Well, let's see. They start here, goes around. I'm gonna guess no. That probably just goes into there.
You think there's like a center, and he just works his way up?
I think you kind of have to. I don't know, but yeah, does that top piece go all the way to the bottom? There's a roof full there. Look at that thing. Looks like an interesting piece of art down there. This is basically a reddened version of the Fortress of Solitude from the Donner Superman right here. Clark Kent ended up becoming Superman. That's what it kind of reminds me of, my artistic representation of it. You know, looking at it, you would just think, that these were like balloons, like colorful balloons, but you get closer up to it, and it is in fact glass. I also find it interesting that there's nothing like around this, so like obviously you're not supposed to touch it, but if someone was to fall into this, it looks cool from a distance. It's a pretty dang cool shirt right there. You could buy a lot of stuff. You can buy the flowers here for $48, the blown glass flowers. Okay, we saw one of these at the former Artagon Mall in Orlando, the Desertland place. They had a cereal bar there that you could eat all you could eat cereal for $5. However, this looks like a different spin on it. This is called the Cereal Bar Adventures in Ice Cream. Maybe it's all you can eat ice cream. This is located right next to the Floridian, which is the former State Theater. Cereal into ice cream. The adventure begins. Look at this. So you get an assortment, not about ice cream today. You can enjoy cereal. And that is the mascot there. You got the really cool looking spoon. This is a little bit different than the one that was at the former Artagon Desertland. That one was like all you can eat for $5. One thing I like about St. Pete, a lot of good artwork and murals. Like here's an eye up here, only a paper moon, just like paintings everywhere. Not really necessarily graffiti, but actual artwork. There's some graffiti too, but not as much as you see elsewhere. ST. Does it say St. Pete? St. Pete. Yeah, there you go. St. Pete. Treat yourself. And around the back of the former State Theater, it's flooded down here. I always like this shark artwork here. Isn't that cool? Eating the door. Whoever walks out of that door is about to be consumed by a very hungry shark. Back at this churro place. Got a flamingo down in there. It's like a little courtyard, a little tiki up top. Surfboards. Like Frankenstein up here has some advice. It's a very happy fish right there. Got an assortment of fish. But then look at this eel. I'm sure there's some nice eels, but eels in movies and are always depicted as kind of mad. I'm sure there's some really nice eels. In a store, I found a pack of original Bazooka Joe bubble gum, which has comic book strip still included. I'm chewing the gum now. Doc, I can't sleep. You try counting, Joe? I counted to 487,465. Then you fell asleep? Question mark. No, it was time to get up. But you may want to consider becoming a professional gum chewer. Is my fortune. Over at the Chihuly Gallery, they said we could come over here for free and watch a glass blowing demo. That's what we're gonna do. Oh, right there is a dinosaur up there with a fishing pole. It looks like the glass blowing experience is right over here, but look, there is a dinosaur up there with the fishing pole. They got one of the big Indiana Jones fans there.
And so as he continues to shape this glass and blow this bubble out, designed specifically for the glass artists, they're made out of a let off of this pipe onto Dan's bubble. You can stick that right in the middle of that. It's going to sit nice and flat. Getting that glass to clear out flat, angling back down, giving it that beautiful ruffled contour.
Everything that's in here they made in a display like that. Really, really, really hot in there, but definitely impressive to watch that. All right, made it over to Tropicana Field. Gonna enjoy a game. Game 2 versus the Rays, Phillies. Rays lost game 1.
They sure did.
All right, the seats we have chosen tonight are down the third baseline. Plenty of elbow room out here. We're just gonna wander around. We're gonna sit here a few innings, and then we're just gonna kind of wander
Take
around.
in the ballpark.
Take in the ballpark. I like that. Take in the ballpark.
Now we're gonna take in a strikeout. It's gonna be a good game. Looking good. Taiwan Walker on the mound.
I have got Tropicana Fields version, kind of, sort of, not really version of Philadelphia Water Eye. Oh, it's coming in hot!
I got it!
What was this called? This is kind of like Philadelphia Water Ice.
I think they called it Italian ice.
Italian ice. Oh yeah, dropping in. Get this rally going in the 8th. Nice play by Randy, right at the wall. All right, bottom of the ninth, 2 outs, 2 strikes. Philly fans on their feet. Philly's about to take this one. Rays are down 4-8. 1 more strike. Rays got a guy on second. Phillies win game 2. They won the series. And that's going to do it for today from St. Pete, Florida. It's been a fun couple days. Not leaving town yet, but at some point will. Right here in Tampa Bay. We'll see you in the next video, the vlog
Is over.